Hey, Prince Bosco here with another video, and today I'm doing a TAVG, which just talks about video games, and basically I'm going to be talking about online gaming. Um, I know the title says it's bad, but the way that I mean to say is that the way it's being done is getting worse. It's going to a bad level, and here's why. Um, Now, it makes sense that the internet and gaming would eventually, go together because it makes sense, So you can play with other people over long distances. A lot of people together makes a tighter community for games, and that's great. That's perfect. But the thing is you can't entirely rely on the internet. Although it is usually, depending on where you live, pretty decent. There are problems. It could be slow. It could be laggy for some people. It used to be like that for me, actually. It can, if it goes out, then you're screwed. And I don't think video games should rely only on the internet for multiplayer or even their entire game for that main reason. Now, I guess it's okay if there's a few games that strive to do that. Like the game that's been a little bit recent, not really too recent, I guess now, but Destiny is a completely online game, and it's just one of those games. I guess there's a lot of games starting to come out that are just purely online. And personally, I've gotten into Destiny, and honestly, the way I've played it, I don't see why it has to be completely online. I completely played it basically by myself. I didn't use anyone else because as far as I played with anyone else, it sucked. So I was completely doing it by myself. Except for strike missions, you have to do that with other people, but I'm not going to get too into that. Basically, I don't see why there couldn't have been a single player mode that was offline. I don't get that. And that, what I just said, gets into my other things. Online might not be good because some people on the internet, you should be able to know this, are, well, trolls or just plain annoying. You don't always want to play with people. You like playing with yourself or people in the same room. You don't want to play with other people that you don't know or that are annoying, because there are people like that. And they're pretty common. So, but like I said, it's a good idea. I completely support that there should be online play, but I think it's getting to a level where it's a little bad. For instance, well, I guess a lot of games are basically relying on the internet and like only the internet. So if you don't have the internet, you can't play the game, which is, in my opinion, really dumb, because you should be able to play the game easily offline. That's basically a basic thing of a game. Sure, there are games, that are online, and yeah, there are those games, but not every game should do that, because you can't rely on the internet all the time. What do you do if the internet's out? Nothing, apparently. Like, the most basic thing a game should have is a single player and a multiplayer mode. But now with the internet, I think there should be a multiplayer and an online mode, because that just makes sense. Being able to play in the same room with someone is that makes complete sense. Especially, like, the biggest example of this problem is the recent Godzilla game. Now, that game has a huge flaw that I can't even believe is possible in a fighting game. You can't play in the same room with someone. You have to only play with online people, and that is ridiculous. Could you imagine not being able to play like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter in the same room with someone? That's just crazy. So that's just the level it's getting to, and I don't like it personally. Now, once again, I hate to have to say it, but Nintendo is doing it right. Now, I keep saying this all the time, but it's true. Nintendo knows what it's doing. It's a veteran to the gaming scene. It's been here since almost the beginning. Basically, what Nintendo does, as I'm going to give the example of Super Mario 3D World and Mario Kart 8. So basically what it does for Super Mario 3D World is it's mostly single player. In fact, most the entire thing is you can play with people in the same room as always. And basically, the online has an interesting feature where it allows people to post things and other people can see them. Now, this feature isn't needed. You're not going to die. In fact, you can choose whether or not this is on. So that's what I think it should be like. Or there's Mario Kart 8, where it has an online option where you can play with other people around the world, but you don't have to. You can play with the same people in the same room by yourself, whatever. You can play the entire game all without the internet if you wanted to, which is I think you should be able to do with any game. Just play it all by yourself, or at least just without the internet at all. Like Far Cry 4 is another good example. What it has is you can play by yourself, or you can go do a co-op, but you don't have to do a co-op. You don't have to have the internet to have fun with the game, which is I think it should be like. The internet should be an extra, not the only thing you can rely on. Because you just can't rely on it. Now, there's, like I said, like Splatoon. I haven't played it yet, but by the looks of it, it's just one of those online games. And that's alright. Like I said, there's going to be some online games, and that's perfectly fine. There are good ways of doing it. They're just like those ways I just gave, Far Cry 4, Mario Kart 8. That's the good ways of doing it, but you can't completely rely on it because some people it's laggy, and then that completely makes it not fun anymore. So, what I think should happen, instead of relying mostly on the internet, is it should have an online mode. You don't have to play online, it's just an extra thing you can do. But the way games are integrating it more and more, it's going to become a problem in the long run, because even look at PlayStation. Well, Xbox is just as bad as this, but okay, so basically PlayStation and Xbox have this problem. Just the PS4 and Xbox One, which is kind of a different problem, but it is related to it, and I find this extremely stupid, is that they force you to pay to play on their services, which I completely do not support. I find that to be the most stupid business decision I've ever seen. It is just as greedy as you can get, because think about it. You already paid for the system and plus the games. You already paid for the internet. Why do you have to pay to have them together? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, I don't know. Now I gotta think of an example. I don't know. I can only think of like one example. Oh, I know. Like, I don't know. You bought your clothing, but now you have to pay to wear it. You know, like it's just dumb. That wasn't a good example necessarily, but it's dumb. It makes no sense at all. They should have kept what they did with PS3, and I'm pretty sure Xbox 360 had the same thing, where you could buy PlayStation. I think it's PlayStation Plus. You could buy it. We didn't need to have it to play online. It just gave you perks, and that's what I think it still should be. Having to pay to play on a service that you already have to pay for is retarded. That is as greedy as you can get. So I completely do not support that. That is way off what you should be doing, PlayStation or Xbox One. It's just a horrible idea. Once again, Nintendo has it right. I know I keep saying it, but it is what it is. Nintendo doesn't make you pay for anything online. Everything is free because that's the way it should be. I guess maybe this is just showing why I like Nintendo, because Nintendo just knows what it's doing. Of course it makes mistakes, but it at least makes up for them, or at least realizes that they've made the mistake. But anyways, I'm going off topic. The main thing is that is a ridiculous thing, and the fact that you have to pay for something that you can't even necessarily rely on. Some people just can't rely on it, and you have to pay for it twice. Oh, that is really bad, and it needs to change, honestly. If the internet keeps going like this, then I really don't like it, because if it comes to a point where you can't even play on a game with your friend in the same room, which I've been having problems with lately. Like, so you gotta even be a thing is that even a consideration anymore? Is it kind of like everyone's just gonna play online? Why even bother? Yeah, so that's basically why I think the online gaming is bad. But as you can tell from this discussion, I don't literally mean it's bad. I mean it's not being done right lately. It can be easily fixed. Basically, just do what I said and it'll be fine. Just have an online mode, because not only people who like play online that'll be good for, but yeah, just have it like that, and don't have any games purely rely on the internet unless it's, there's a few exceptions that make sense, but a game like Destiny, you don't need to have that completely online. You could easily have had it a single player mode, because like I said, I played the entire thing basically by myself. It was basically single player, except I needed the internet to play it. Yeah, so I think that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have different insights or have other things you want to say, please say them below in the comments. And yeah, see ya. Stay awesome.